Earlier this year, Jason Kendig hired me to draw a set of plans for this home that he wanted to build with his wife on some property that they had. This is a big-sized house. It's 3,400 square feet on the main level. And then up in the bonus room up here over the garage, they have another 700 feet. And then it's a big 3-car garage that has about 1,100 square feet. And then it's got a huge back deck. The interesting thing is I do this in the spring, and Jason wanted me to come out and frame it for him and put it together in the fall, which well, actually I think we started in September. He by that time had the foundation in and all the excavation work, and so we started, I think it was right around September 1st, after we got done framing the new Miller Custom that we're building as well. This picture here is the day one of framing. Here's all the wood is, and lumber and plywood is still wrapped up, having been delivered, and as you can see, it was a beautiful job site. In this direction, this was off to the west. We could actually see just all the way to the casino over here, you know, the Fairchild, and it just and then in the other direction we were able to see all the way out to Mount Spokane. So it just had a wonderful panoramic view, and the weather was just beautiful when we started. This was a big tough roof. This picture was taken after unloading these trusses. It took an entire day, and then actually there was 2 loads, an entire day to set these trusses and then unload. This is a big girder and a big girder and a big girder trusses. It was something I kind of been dreading a little bit ever since I was drawing them. Even though I didn't know at the time I was going to be framing it, I was kind of almost glad I wasn't going to be framing it, at least not the roof. When a house is as complex as this, I draw it out in advance, every stick basically in 3D. And this is what I'm talking about, the girder trusses. This is the girder truss right there. The regular trusses come to here, then you hit this big heavy-duty truss that's going to carry a bunch of weight. It actually is carrying the weight from the end of these trusses are the bedroom trusses, and then there's another girder right here, and that girder carries this ridge, and it's picked up over here on this girder truss, and then this is the living room girder truss. It carries one end of the ridge plus a bunch of stuff in the ceiling and whatnot. This then is that's the living room girder, that's the bedroom girder, and at the end one here is the garage girder. And this area, the whole roof was a lot of work, but this was the where all the stick building was done. And I just got really lucky. I've been looking for somebody who could frame that for me, or so that it was either going to be me, or I tried to find somebody young, and I get right at the day that I had to have him, I actually found 2 guys. This is Justin. He's just a big, I can do it all, I can do anything kind of guy. And boy, he was not bragging when he told me he could handle that roof. He handled the whole porch, and he just did a tremendous amount of work, and did a really good job. I probably had at least 400 framers at least work for me, and he's in the top 3. And then working with him, normally Carl, this is Carl, he was the other guy that I hired. Normally Carl's the one up here, and this guy's down on the ground handing him stuff, but Carl put every sheet on this roof. He just really, they both worked really hard and did a really good job. I got lucky with those 2. This whole end was another thing that I had kind of worried about the whole time. It's on a very rocky, extremely rocky side of a hill here, and it's, you know, from here, let's see, that's 4, 8, 12, and then probably, so you're at least 16 feet off the ground from that point up, and that's to there. We've got to side and paint and do all this work up in here. So I thought, we have so much work to do. We're going to go ahead and spend the time and build scaffolding. By the time we took the scaffolding down, we had put these shingles up, and the shingles are quite a time-consuming process. We had shingled it. First we put the barricade on it, and then we put the soffit under the eaves, and then the fascia, and we had and then we painted it all. Then we took down the but that didn't dawn on me to do that until like right towards the very end, right before we had to do it, and it finally occurred to me how to solve that problem. One thing you get with when we go out and do a job, you get a lot of diversity, and things get done at the time that they should, I think. If you look here, you got Tim. He's overspraying the soffit. We've already hand painted. Before we put these up, we painted the fascia boards, the outside of them being the trim color and the inside being the body color. Because it's tough to spray the inside of that fascia. It hangs down from the soffit just a little bit, about 1.5 inches, and unless it's pre-painted, it's really hard to get a good paint job on that at that point. So we'll put all the fascia and soffit up, and then Tim went around and shot with a gun all of this, all the soffit under here. Then he went back and hand rolled this again. It already had one coat. And you'll notice, like here, where we had this piece of scaffolding up, that scaffolding was able to be used to first put the soffit and fascia on here, and then side this, and then paint this. So it's all getting done at once. And like on this job, Jason wants to paint himself. Well, he's never have to go climb up into the peaks or worry about the cutting in the fascia with the drip ledges. So we do it pretty efficient, I think. If you think about it, there was a tremendous amount of work in this deck, considering each one of these posts has a footing, and then the cement pier that we had to form, and then attached to the 6x6, and there's just a lot of work in this deck. Trex, we put the Trex down as well. There's a lot of screwing off, and you got to be pretty careful when you're putting down the Trex. And there was a lot of square footage in this deck when you consider it was the entire length of the house and back, and came out 16 feet. So it's like a 16 by nearly 60 foot deck. Eventually we got the whole thing done for him, at least to this stage, and from here he's going to take it over. Jason's going to do the plumbing and the electrical, and then perhaps use this again to do the finish work on it. But I think it really turned out nice.